Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 3 of match play, here at the 2016 Intercollegiate Team Championships at Northrock Lanes in Wichita, Kansas. Losers bracket matches going on currently across the house. These are teams who lost their first match yesterday after 24 games of qualifying. There was 2 rounds of match play. The losers of round 1, of course, are now competing here. And so to make it to the TV show, the semifinals at this point, the finals, it will take a monumental effort from one of these teams in the losers bracket to do so, especially if they're bowling right now. 5 matches to win to make the TV show. I'm going to start off by saying we certainly apologize for all of the technical difficulties. Certainly the internet has been troublesome. We know that. And literally we've done everything that we know to provide you with the best possible quality. The good news is we are recording today's events. So while the stream, we will do the best we can to, of course, to keep that live for you. We are recording simultaneously, and we certainly will upload the finished product. So that way, we won't deprive the great fans, the parents, teammates, and players of the event and being able to watch this. We've switched certain things, so but we appreciate those who have stuck with us. And I continue to see some of the same names in the chat room. And so please know, on a personal level, I certainly appreciate it, as does Aaron, Jason, and everyone involved. Thank you for the shout out. Certainly, Bluegrass has been great. He it. And everyone involved. So what we'll do now, of course, we'll just reset. See what's on your screen. It is current. Calumet and Ohio State tied at 1 apiece. Newman now will go up 2 games to 1. Check that, sorry. Newman will tie it up at 1 apiece. They are bowling. Don't call me off guard. Other updates, 1-1, Maryland Eastern Shore and Wright State. On the women's side, Ohio State, Calumet, of course, in your future pair of the men's. 1-1, Wichita State leading Urbana 2-0 on the men's side. Morehead State leading Notre Dame, Ohio 2 games to 0. Lindenwood leading San Jose State 2 games to 0 as well on the boy. And watching now again, Ambrose 1 game as well. Notre Dame, Ohio 2-0 over Pikeville. Again, those are your current matches. And if you are just joining us, Neil Williams Jr. with Aaron Smith, Jason Thomas in the building as well. It's been fun, frustrating, but we're here to provide what we can. This is one of the greatest events in our sport. And as a former competitor, I certainly understand exactly what it means to not only be a part of it, but just to have the opportunity to view it. So we'll keep an eye on things, of course, here. We'll certainly keep an eye on what's going on the lanes. If you missed anything yesterday, again, 24 games of qualifying. After those 24 games, on the women's side, Weber International was the top seed. International, the top seed. For some reason, my headset just doesn't want to cooperate with me. I'm a low talker nonetheless, and so my volume is generally turned up. But I think we got the right combination. I appreciate the personal level, too. I feel like we, myself, Aaron, and those watching in the chat room have now developed relationships, and I kind of want to meet everybody at this point. But that's what happens when you go through things together. People stick with you. And that's what it's about, a little give and take. But nonetheless, Weber International, the top seed in the women's division. They defeated St. Francis, Illinois, the 1 over the 16 seed. Again, this is a double elimination inside. Of course, if you're familiar with any bracket play, 1 versus 16, 8 versus 9, 2 versus beating St. Francis to lose to McKendree. McKendree, the 9th seed, coming off a 3rd place finish. Championship. They will pick Florida State up at 8 Tuesday. And of course, yesterday, with the girls squad in the field, find themselves doing battle against McKendree in 30. Again, this the winners will move on here, and then of course the winners bracket teams will do battle at. So McKendree, Florida State, North Carolina A&T. Story, the defending champions here at the Intercollegiate Team Champions. They will take hometown favorites. A lot of support in the building, of course, for the Shockers of Wichita State. Looks like a couple pairs to the featured pair at that point. But of course, on that certainly riles our attention. Cameras that way if we can. That is the women's side, of course. Your winners bracket matches later on today. On the men's side, Patterson hadn't won a national title since 1992. They find themselves 2-0. On Robert Morris. He knocked off the top seed Purdue in their second round matchup after defeating into the ITC event. Robert in game 7, a game or two before. Pretty solid for also on that men's side there. McKendree will take on Weber International. Weber the number 3 seed, McKendree and the 2nd seeded Midland Warriors there. So McKendree, both McKendree squads, the event 1:30 Central Time, 2:30 East, 30 Pacific, 12:30 Mountain. I'm only good at covering the country. Internationally, I might have to hit Google up to tell you what times may be needed in areas of the world. Get a cameo at the OC, not next week, the following week actually. Next week, convention and PWBA stop, and then the following week I will be at the OC. Schedule right May 2nd, May 3rd. I may try to sneak into May 1st for a couple of days, down to Facebook, like well on Twitter. Twitter at USBC and follow me as well at So let's take a look at what's in front of us. Over Ohio State, and again, we are aware certainly of what's happening. We are today, and that way we can upload it back and watch. And we'll do what we can. See what other updates we have. Morehead State. Those who are listening, Morehead State right now leading 3 games to zilch with Notre Dame, Ohio. I'll repeat that just in case it may have been missed. Morehead State leading 3 games to 0 over Notre Dame, Ohio. Wichita State 3-0 on Urbana currently. They are in the second frame of game number 4. Looking good for the Shockers here this morning. We want to thank former Shocker Brent Bowers for all of his help. We have collaborated a lot. Brent is a great guy and a great individual, and certainly wants to provide the best that we can as well. Let's see. Get you some other updates, other matches. We talked about Wichita State and Urbana. Talked about Morehead State and Notre Dame, Ohio. Lindenwood had a 2-0 lead over San Jose State. They are on the far end, on the left side here, first pair at this point, so hard to see what's going on down there. St. Francis, Illinois, young upstart program. Tony Talley and George Contos doing some great things in Joliet, Illinois. Making their second consecutive appearance. Last year was their first. They came a few games away from making the TV show. They want to do that today. It's going to be a long road. But I'm excited to see if one of these teams can kind of climb that ladder. And boy, it would be a climb. It would be one of the more impressive feats in college bowling, to say the least. More women's updates. St. Ambrose and Stephen F. Austin. Third time 1-1. Looks like they are going to game 3. They won that game. No problem for Notre Dame College of Ohio. They trail in their match 3-0 to stage. So that is, and I believe they are in game 4. About 5 frames in, from what I can tell. Oh, a second game, or beg your pardon, third game winner. 2 games to 1 now. St. Francis with a 184-165 victory. Our statistician, Aaron Smith, working the magic right now. These are contenders bracket matchups, as Bluegrass 300 is displayed in the chat room. Winners bracket matches will take place again at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. Again, 1:30 p.m. Central Time. Men's side will be William Patterson versus Robert Morris, McKendree and Weber. For the women, McKendree and Florida State, North Carolina A&T and Wichita State. Those are the winners bracket scheduled for 1:30 p.m. No problem, Brian. 3-0 or 0-3 if you're a Notre Dame college fan, unfortunately. They trail in their match versus Morehead State. Again, losers of these matches will then be eliminated. These teams facing off against one another right now lost their first match yesterday. And so the losers here will go home. A couple interesting storylines starting to develop. Of course, the hometown Wichita State Shockers, men still in it, and right now leading in their match 3-0 over Urbana. But you've got the hometown Newman Jets, of course, as well, the women. Early trailed 2-1. There is a Shocker reunion going on here, and of course surrounding the ITC in Wichita. The first ever Wichita State Shocker reunion, which for those of you, of course, familiar with bowling in general, you certainly know the name Wichita State. Kind of hard to believe they had never had a reunion until this year, but it's a good idea, and one that I may just use for my own alums. But nonetheless, with a reunion, of course, that brings tons of alumni. And so you would expect at 1:30 p.m., and of course, should Wichita continue on, the men I'm speaking of currently, should they win their match and continue on, they'll be rocking at about 1:30 p.m. this afternoon. Update on St. Ambrose. St. Ambrose currently strike, open, strike, spare. They've got 48 in the third, on the spare in the fourth frame, facing the Stephen F. Austin team fresh off an NCAA Women's Bowling Championship. Lady Jacks on a 3-bagger as they head to the 6th frame. St. Ambrose, if I am not mistaken, I'll confirm that, I believe are up 2-1. North Carolina A&T, of course, the storyline, because they are the defending champions on the women's side and are halfway home, essentially, to the TV show. An opportunity to successfully defend that title. They will come to bat at 1:30 versus Wichita State. I think that would be, or will be one of, if not the most celebrated match, if we can say that, simply because Wichita State will certainly have all of the support. North Carolina A&T can be the underdog in that match because of where they are, where the tournament is located. And so that'll be an interesting dynamic to kind of keep an eye on. Some adversity. And think about it, North Carolina A&T, they're the champs, and they'll be the champs until someone dethrones them. Wichita State women looking for their first title since 2009. On the women's teams starting to, and across college bowling in general, the talent level really starting to even out, spread out a little bit. See more upstart programs. So a lot of different winners on the women's side in the last few years. Men's side, the Shockers look to be very close to moving on. In this round 1 match, or I beg your pardon, the round 3 match here this morning. We'll wait that game to go final, but it is looking good for Wichita State. Let's see. Casey Landers with the spare for Newman. Casey a long way from home, from Southern California. Looks like Lindenwood from what I just saw on the screen, LU and San Jose State. Tied game 3, looks like at 2:03 apiece. So if that is correct, Lindenwood will lead 2.5 to half a point. Today. We've been experiencing some difficulty, so I'm trying to make sure we can adjust what we can. Unfortunately, that will compromise quality, but at this point, we'd rather give you a consistent stream where you can watch. If something changes, of course, throughout the day, we will certainly bring out the best quality. The highest right now you can go is 480p, so you should still be able to adjust that and get to the highest quality possible at this point. Just click on the settings gear, hover your mouse on the video player. You'll see the settings wheel. Quality will be at the bottom. Of course, if it's on auto, it will give you best possible quality. Of course, your internet connection will give you. You can set that to 480p. We appreciate that, Chris Hester. Chris, an alum of this event as well. I'll be happy to know that Morehead State is doing well. Couple updates now. Calumet, of course, and Ohio State tied at 2. That's what's happening on your featured pair for the men. Through the face again on that right lane. Lane 24 is starting to be a little troublesome for both teams. Again, CCSJ, Calumet College from Northwest Indiana, and the Ohio State Buckeyes making their first appearance in 20 years at the ITC. How about that? Wichita State men have defeated Urbana 4-0. So the Shockers will move on. Again, 2.5 to half a point, Lindenwood San Jose State. Morehead State has officially defeated Notre Dame, Ohio 4-0. The women, Stephen F. Austin now takes a 2-1 lead. They are finishing up game 3, and looks like they will go up 3-1. Notre Dame, Ohio over Pikeville, 2-1 again. The women, Maryland Eastern Shore leading Wright State 2-1 as well. Those are your current updates. Let me know if I missed something. Some Weber women updates. And they should be coming up next. Let me double check that. Florida State women will hit the lanes at 1:30 Central Time. They won both of their matches yesterday and are in the winner's bracket. So that's everything that is going on currently. In fact, again, the men's matches, Wichita State has moved on. They swept Urbana. Morehead State will move on. Again, these are the losers bracket, contenders bracket matches. Morehead State moving on. San Jose State and Lindenwood, the lone match off the featured pairs here. And that is 2.5 to a half point in favor of the Lindenwood Lions. For the women, Stephen F. Austin to our right, leading 3-1 over St. Ambrose. Pikeville trailing in their match now to Notre Dame, Ohio, 3-1. Maryland Eastern Shore leading Wright State 3-1. Those are all of the current matches going on at this particular point. Round 4 is scheduled to begin at 9:45 a.m. If you haven't seen the bracket, you can do so checking out our description. You'll find the men's bracket and the women's bracket beneath the description of the events. You can also check out bowl.com/ITC. We'll have the men's and women's brackets. If you're curious about qualifying as well, you can check that also. So let us update some matches here. Again, Wichita State moving on. I'll get some confirmation, but I believe they will take on Pikeville. Ohio State and Calumet all notched at 2. Newman now. And St. Francis tied at 2. Chance of let's go Buckeyes. Nice shot there. I believe that was Nick Eckert for Calumet College. The Crimson Wave had a fantastic year. The top ranked team from the power ranking standpoint at the end of the regular season. Historic year In fact, won 4 of the 5 Tier 1 events that they entered. Talented sophomore Michael Davidson was a first-team All-American. Led the nation in Tier 1 average, 220.4. Unfortunately, they are without his services in team competition as he was injured late in the singles portion on Tuesday. He's a participant in the Intercollegiate Singles Championships. So CCSJ without one of their talented players. So we'll see the rest of the roster, and they look pretty good so far. They are tied at 2 apiece, but dealing with some adversity. They've got the Coach of the Year on their side, Mike Kabacki. Wave, and then we've got, of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes. They will fall in this matchup, especially now. That was a good-looking shot, and rewarded with a 4-6. Format is always best of 7. First to 4 wins in 7 games. Again, at this point, this is strictly a single elimination only for the teams that are competing at this particular point, and in the next round for that matter. Overall, it is double elimination. These teams lost their first round matchups yesterday, and now into the contenders bracket this morning. And will need to keep winning to stay alive. Think NCAA tournament in one day. Win, move on. You need to win 4 or 5. These teams will need to win 5 to make it. Calumet College now with a 1-game advantage. They lead 3 games to 2 as they make the flip to lane 24. If you're just joining us, Morehead State, they will move on. They defeated Notre Dame, Ohio, 4 games to 0. Notre Dame, Ohio, although the 15th seed, that's a talented squad there. And again, another example of a good young upstart program, both the men and women. Made the ITCs this year. Women still competing. In fact, they lead 3 games to 1 over Pikeville. Try to get an update as I look down. One team is finished. Looks like Pikeville just finishing up their 10th frame. You can generally tell by the facial expressions on what has taken place at this event. Kind of the good and the bad, if you will. Certainly not afraid or ashamed to say that I've shed a few tears myself at this event. When it's all over and when it's all said and done, you realize it's the career is complete. Sometimes it can be a little tough to swallow. I cannot speculate as of yet on what's going on there. I can only go by what I see, but I will wait to confirm that from what looks to be. Notre Dame, Ohio may be moving on the women's side. Good matchups, of course, in front of you on your featured pairs. You can see where we stand from a game standpoint. Newman and University of St. Francis, Illinois. Calumet College and Ohio State. Yeah, Bluegrass, I hear what you're saying. It does not reflect what I'm seeing. But again, that's why I'll wait for the official tally. Pikeville, of course, risen to prominence in the last decade or so. In fact, decade, just a little over, 14 or 12 years, I should say. Won their first title back in 2004. Once I have that official Bluegrass, I will definitely give you the tally. It hasn't hit our screen yet. I like Bluegrass. At some point, figure out his or hers real name. We will meet and we will shake hands. Aaron Smith, how you doing? He's good. Way down on the other end there, Wright State and Maryland Eastern Shore, I believe, still going at it. They have just started a new game. Good spare. Big spare there from Calumet College. Saves an open, of course. And that's a big one. Ohio State, an early double, and now 9 spare. And they've got a 3-pin lead. And if you're just joining us, we appreciate it. I'll continue to say thank you. I won't harp on it. But thank you. Good shot there. Crimson Wave. Calumet got a chance to close out Ohio State here in Game 6. This is postseason action, folks, at its finest. Ohio State will answer. The Buckeyes trying to force a Game 7. Those wondering about St. Ambrose, they are about to win this game. I believe this is Game 5 for them. They trail 3 games to 1, and so they will win Game 5 and extend the match versus Stephen F. Austin. LU, Mr. Smith. Last time we had a good check on it, it was 2.5 to a half point. They won Game 4, so 3.5 to a half point. So they are in the driver's seat. They are the furthest away from my viewing area, so I can really only rely on our updated match play screens here at the venue. Baby split now, the 3:10 left. Nice spare. course, Baker format, you got to fill frames. Some of them come at inopportune times, but hopefully it's makeable. In certain cases, you've got to clutch up, make a split, something that seems impossible. And that's how champions become champions. Ohio State now with a 4-pin lead as we head to the 8th frame. Absolutely, Bluegrass. Good luck. I believe I might be right here in this very center on those dates. There's a PWBA Wichita Open. I don't remember which date, but the month of June will be filled with PWBA stops for me. You saw the nice shot there on the Crimson Wave, trying to answer back, crossing over and leaving a 10-pin. It's Ohio State. Very thankful to be here in a different capacity and role. Once as a player, a long time ago at this point. Very important shot for Ryan Burks, Calumet College. He spoke with his coach. You may have saw it, trying to get lined up. Here it is in the 9th frame. Packs the rack. What a shot there. Yes, sir. I do know Chip. Great individual. Great bowler, too. Eagle winner. Appreciate that update, Jake, as well. Well, it looks like LU and San Jose State just about over. Again, can't see the official score. Oh, my. Before 6 goals late. And Calumet done what they needed. Strike in the 9th. Make sure my math is correct. Need a few pins here. A strike would seal it. And now a 3-10 to deal with. Ohio State still with life. The strike there would have shut them out. The Buckeyes need them all. First one needs it. Beautiful shot. So here's the situation, folks. Spare attempt for Calumet is converted successfully. 2:21. Anything less than a strike here. Calumet will move on. Ohio State with a strike will extend this match to 7 games. Here's the shot. Gotta hurry. Gotta get on the horse. 2-pin won't go. And the Buckeyes' memorable run to the ITCs for the first time in 20 years will come to an end here this morning. Valiant effort by Ohio State. Lone open came in the first frame. A couple of 9 counts in the 7th and 8th frames, but all you can ask for is to give your anchor bowler an opportunity in the 10th frame. He came with the first. Just a snug right on the second shot. Didn't get over the hill, left the 2-pin there. Don't know all of the roster members, but I'm sure that might have been a senior getting some opportunity there. Wayne Apgar, a senior. Ethan Howell, a senior. Kyler McDonald, a senior. In fact, Kyler McDonald on the All-America squads. Zach Novak, a senior. Ryan Olson, a junior. Kevin Orvitz, a junior. Ben Sobel, a senior. And Anthony Zaccarella, a junior. Again, they were led by Kyler McDonald, averaged 209 on the season. First time in 20 years. But nonetheless, Ohio State has been eliminated. Calumet still with life. They will move on. Now we will turn our attention to our girls match here, where Newman leads it now 3 games to 2. Coming with more updates for you. Let's start with the women. Again, 3-2 Newman, St. Ambrose, 3-2 Stephen F. Austin, over St. Ambrose. Newman leading St. Francis, I beg your pardon, that is in front of us. Notre Dame, Ohio did officially defeat Pikeville 4 games to 1. Maryland Eastern Shore leads Wright State 3 games to 2. And I look down, one team has completed their 10th frame. Maryland Eastern Shore currently in a huddle. Wright State still looks to be completing their 10th frame. And so again, I will await the official score before we provide you some false information. Well, folks, it's been going good this morning. For those who have been with us. You know, we've been working hard here. Nice shot there. That was Haley Williams. Newman had 2 ISC competitors on Tuesday, Haley Williams and Miranda Haney. Yeah, you bring up a good point, Bluegrass. Let me just double check my bracket. I know they were on, I believe they were on 33 and 34, but I didn't get a chance to see where they started, so. Sounds like the conversation between Neil and Tyler might involve going back to college. Not ready to start the adulting, as the kids say these days. I feel you, though. Thought that one was a good shot, felt good on the anchor here for St. Francis, Illinois. Again, the loser eliminated in our matches currently. Are you speaking of Wichita State men or women there, Kyle? I think everyone does, Neil. Nice shot, Casey Lander. Gave that one the old SoCal walk-off. Oh ho! And she'll answer back. Good match going on in front of us. Also in the 10th frame there, Stephen F. Austin and St. Ambrose. Stephanie Schwartz with a strike. Katie Maher up in the 10th frame for St. Ambrose. She was also a singles competitor. Katie, a junior from, I believe that is Ottumwa, Iowa. But again, no official word yet. I always want to double check before I say someone has won or lost. Stop that. 9-pin stood momentarily. Newman has found their groove here in game 6. They lead by 13 pins. Flat dime there from St. Francis, Illinois. Morgan Flaherty, the junior from New Lenox, Illinois. And a clutch 6-7-10 make in the 5th frame to keep this one close. Now Haley Williams will step up in the 8th frame. Newman led by head coach Billy Murphy. St. Francis, Illinois, Tony Talley and George Contos. Here's a Williams shot, pin back. Stephen F. Austin has officially defeated St. Ambrose 4-2. Maryland Eastern Shore has eliminated Wright State 4-2 as well. So our women's matches, aside from your featured pair, are complete. Nice shot in the 9th frame there. Newman, the Jets, jet setting to the 10th frame on a 3-bagger. St. Francis wanting to make them earn it, however. Good shot to set up things in the 10th frame. Max 226 for St. Francis. Still 250, of course, on the board for Newman, but barring a catastrophe, Casey Landers can eliminate St. Francis on this shot. 4 in a row. And Newman will live to see another round. Formalities at this point, of course. Congratulations to St. Francis, Illinois. Another great season. In their second ITC appearance, did not go as good as last year's, of course, but it takes a lot to get to this point, folks. And I think that sometimes goes understated. When teams lose first couple matches, you got to think about what it took to get to this point. And for many teams, that began the day after this event last year. You hit the lanes, you practice. Coaches, you're shoring up recruits, still recruiting. Athletes, you're practicing, of course, competing at the high level events over the summer. It's just like any other sport. You got to put the time in, man. So congratulations to, again, the Fighting Saints at the University of St. Francis. It's going to be tough. It's going to hurt right now. You kind of look back on it and say you got a good season. The key is, however, to not be satisfied. They had a taste of nearly getting to the TV show last year, making it to the semifinals, the Final Four appearance. Congratulations to Newman in the present moment, because they will move on. that will conclude round 3. Boy, that was fun. Newman 256, St. Francis 206. The women will high five, shake hands, and hug one another. So let us update our brackets. Folks, if you're following along at home, you can find your bracket on bowl.com/ITC. You can also click the links to the men and women's brackets in the YouTube description underneath the event. 435 watching us here at 9:45 a.m. Central Time, and we appreciate you. So 9:45 a.m. We finished with the women's. Let's start with the women's as well. Again, St. Ambrose falls to Stephen F. Austin. So SFA will now move on. And if my math skills, I guess at this point we're not even talking about math, it's just reading the bracket properly. Wave runner, Calumet went on to defeat Ohio State, came down to the 10th frame. In a very good match. Ohio State got the first one in the 10th. Calumet College could have shut out. Ohio State got the first strike, left a 3-10. It was converted in the 10th frame. Ohio State countered with a first strike and then a 2-pin. So Calumet does move on. So it looks to be Wichita State for the men. And I backtrack. I'm gonna go with the men's here because I can see where they are. On your featured pair, the Wichita State Shockers will take on the Purdue Boilermakers. That'd be a fine basketball matchup I'd enjoy watching as well. That would leave Calumet to face Pikeville. We'll need to confirm that because they're on the same side of the bracket. Again, we'll have all the official ones for you here in just a second. We got way down on the other end there. I see Randolph _T Lightfoot talking with his squad.
Attention collegiate bowlers, parents, and coaches. Before we get you started with the next round, a brief public service announcement. It is absolutely crucial that we keep the walkway on the concourse as clear as we possibly can. One of our spectators yesterday notified the fire marshal. They came, they saw, and they will probably be back today. And if he comes back and he sees our walkways blocked,
the announcement you hear currently is Brent Bowers talking to the spectators on the concourse.
Until he can get
We did have the fire marshal in the building.
If you think you're in a
And to
walkway,
clear a pathway
so please keep the
behind us
clear.
here.
Thank you.
We've got the old caution tape roped around us, so we've got a little bit of protection. So Midland and Lindenwood. That's going to be a tough one. Those are two very good programs. That's another thing you get with this tournament. You get great matches, and sometimes you get them when you don't want to see them in an elimination matchup. Mentioned Morehead State for the men also moved on. Defeating Notre Dame, Ohio earlier. They will take on Wisconsin Whitewater. I haven't checked yet, Bluegrass. I'm sure I did. I'm not too superstitious, but I'm kind of superstitious, so at this point, I don't want to touch anything. If you feel what I'm saying. But in just a sec, though, I will confirm. I'll check my phone here in a minute. I appreciate that. Again, folks, if you're just joining us, round 3 is complete. The first round of today is complete.
Notre Dame, Ohio. Number 11, Wisconsin Whitewater.
Notre Dame again, Wisconsin Whitewater.
Number 6, Maryland Eastern Shore. Number 2, Emmanuel. 29 and 30. Number 8. Number 5, Delaware State. And our final, Boston and Webster International in our men's division. 23 and 20 Wichita State.
And the Wichita State with the hometown and alumni here, men's featured pair.
And number 6, Wisconsin White.
Stephen F. Austin. We'll get a look at women's champs. They will take on Weber Inter.
All matches will be 4 out of 7 major.
He was asking about Weber.
Come on, you will have. At this time, lines are now moving on for your 15.
All right, folks. Again, if you are just joining us, round 4 on its way. So we get my mic situated. There we go. The winners from round 3 will now move on to face the teams who essentially went 1-1 yesterday. Won their first, lost their second. Wichita State and Purdue. Men's feature pair, Purdue, the top seed, won the Crystal Pin, and that is awarded to the top qualifier after qualifying 24 games of Baker prior to match play. Purdue defeated Ohio State yesterday in round 1, then lost to William Patterson, so they find themselves here. Wichita lost early yesterday to Robert Morris. Fast forward to this morning, they defeated Urbana 4-0, and now will square off against the Boilermakers. To their left, in the men's division, Calumet College of St. Joseph, CCSJ, defeated Ohio State this morning in a great match. They lost to William Patterson as well. They will take on Pikeville. Pikeville defeated Urbana yesterday in round 1 and then lost to Robert Morris. Even threw a 300 game into the mix as well, did Pikeville yesterday. But the beauty of bowling is it's only one game, and Robert Morris didn't let it phase him. And they were able to clutch up. Kenny Ryan threw a double in that match yesterday to advance. So Pikeville and Calumet. Moving on down further, we've got the Midland Warriors and the Lindenwood Lions. Midland defeated Notre Dame, Ohio yesterday in round 1 and then lost to McKendree in round number 2. And so now they find themselves, of course, here in the losers bracket facing the Lions. Lions lost early yesterday against Wisconsin Whitewater. And then, of course, now we'll face, defeated San Jose State. Early exit for San Jose State, the Spartans. Darren Tang and Michael Zakatori. Tough tournament for them, but again, another talented team. And then all the way on the end, Wisconsin Whitewater and Morehead State. Doing battle. For the women, on our feature pair, Stephen F. Austin and, sorry about that, Weber International.
athletes, practice is now ended. Please hold up on all practice balls. Once again, practice is now ended. Please hold up on all practice balls. The USBC Collegiate Program would like to thank our sponsors and the following groups for their support of the Intercollegiate Team Championships. Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider of the Intercollegiate Team Championships and Intercollegiate Singles Championships. The Youth Education Services Program. The Youth Education Services Program is an initiative dedicated to the development of youth bowling. Our future is now. And the partnerships already created have come together for a better cause, the future of bowling. And H2M for creating the lane patterns for the Intercollegiate Team Championships and Intercollegiate Singles Championships. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give these collegiate teams a big send-off as they begin round 4 competition of their double elimination match play. Teams, please make sure to reset your lanes for the first ball. Your lanes are off for competition. Good luck and good bowling.
All right, folks, welcome back. We are now in round number 4. It starts our 9:45 a.m. portion. Neil Williams Jr. Aaron Smith, Jason Thomas, and a special guest in the booth now. Pleased to be joined by Leslie Bone.
Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. Leslie, of course, starred at Wichita State. Some of you may not even know that she starred at Wichita State, but she is here. I mentioned earlier there is a Shocker reunion going on, and she is here on behalf, of course, celebrating Wichita State and being around former teammates, new folks you probably are just meeting now. So how's everything going for you?
Everything is going great this week. And what an amazing opportunity to recognize and celebrate the successes of Wichita State bowling. My alumni, visiting everyone, seeing faces that we haven't seen, could be from years when we competed. So this is a great opportunity for us all to get back together, and certainly during this National Intercollegiate Bowling Championships, and watch our teams compete for hopefully another title.
Absolutely. You're no stranger, of course, to college bowling. Wichita State right now, the Shockers, the men, facing off against Purdue. Again, the loser will be eliminated. Stephen F. Austin and Weber International on our women's featured pair. You got a close eye and bird's eye view, if you will, last week watching the NCAA Women's Championships in New Jersey, where Stephen F. Austin was victorious. What stood out about that squad for you, and kind of what do you look for in this particular matchup against an always tough Weber team?
Yeah, Weber has put together an amazing group of talented ladies from across the world. And I think that's one of the things that's really changed in collegiate bowling from the time that I competed. These players, there is just an incredible group of talented women from all over. And Stephen F. Austin, these girls are hungry. They know how to win. They just came off of their win last week, so they are on an emotional high. I also know that McKendry's here competing, and they bowled well last week, and I think those girls are just as hungry. They lost in Game 7 right before the TV match. So those girls have a burning desire to, they're staying on that high, and they're ready to compete. And I think having that opportunity to compete last week and coming right here this week is certainly going to be to their advantage.
Sure, short turnaround certainly always helps.
Yeah.
Don't have too many days to kind of think about what took place before you get to dive right back into competition.
Absolutely.
Stephen F. Austin, strikes, spare strikes so far. And I agree with many in the chat room. This will be a dynamite match. And I think the Shockers and the Boilermakers as well Purdue's had some very good teams throughout the years, and with a #1 seed so far in the tournament after qualifying, of course, with a double elimination match play bracket, it doesn't really matter what seed you come out with, but it kind of goes to show where their minds are. They've got a good look at the pattern. They know what to do. But, of course, obviously the Shockers are always a tough out.
They are, and with the hometown crowd behind them and the incredible amount of people that have traveled to be a part of this alumni week is certainly going to be to their advantage. Turn around, there's a lot of black and gold in the building.
Let me do one swift take. I had an opportunity to speak with Chris Green. Chris bowled about the same time that I did as well, so I still am very friendly and have several friends, of course, that were former Shockers, and he told me about the reunion and said it was the first one ever. Which was very hard to believe.
It is. And it's funny when you say that. Years ago when I was under Coach Gordon, or Coach V now, his direction, this has been just a dream of his for a number of years. So I'm so glad, when they were finally able to pull it together. And, of course, being here in the hometown, I know this is the second year the national championships have been held here in Wichita. And so it was just a great opportunity to do it. So there's been something going on every day. We had a get-together with the folks on Wednesday night, and a number of the gentlemen and some of the ladies joined in for a golf outing yesterday. So now we're all out here cheering them on.
About that. Through 5 frames, Wichita State, of course, as you can see on your screen, 86 in the 4th, strike in the 5th. Purdue kind of taking their time a little bit. I'm sure probably not the start they're looking for. Slow it down, kind of reset. On the women's side of things, we'll just take a look at other matches. I'm sure most of you will certainly want to know. Newman and Delaware State taking care of business over on lanes 29 and 30. Of course, Stephen F. Austin and Weber right here in front of us. Notre Dame, Ohio, and Wisconsin, Whitewater on lanes 37 and 38. Maryland, Eastern Shore, and Emmanuel on 33 and 34. So those are the current matches. Again, coming up next, round 5 will then fit the winners matchups as well. So we'll continue on with the contenders bracket, and then the winners matches will also begin. You mentioned McKintrey earlier, Leslie, of course, taking care of business, won both of their matches yesterday. They'll face an upstart Florida State squad. They had a lot of support in the chat room at Florida State yesterday, so that should be a dynamite matchup. But the one I'm looking forward to, I think, and broadcasters, of course, we don't pick favorites, but we like to see great matchups. North Carolina A&T, the defending champs, against Wichita State. That's got to be dynamite. Oh, my
goodness. Defending champions and girls who are incredibly hungry. It's been a while since our Lady Shockers have brought home a national championship, and just so much fun to watch these girls compete. This level of college bowling is just, I know I've said this word a few times, but it's just incredible.
Hey.
The level of play has really, really improved through the years. The coaches, you see so many collegiate players who bowled during my era, maybe even your era as well, that have moved into those coaching roles who just love college bowling. This team play is incredible. Life skills that you learn through college bowling are things that you'll just carry on for the rest of your life.
There are a lot of things, and you mentioned life skills, people skills, what your coaches teach you, not just as an athlete, but as a person.
Absolutely.
All of those things will generally stay with you as you move throughout life. You mentioned coaches, of course, Alicia Current, former Shocker, head coach of Delaware State. Trying to think of any other. Billy Murphy.
Billy Murphy, I bowled with at Wichita State. We were during the same few years. I'm a little bit older, but that's okay. I told him he needs to respect his elders.
Wichita State Shockers, the men, they are not wasting any time.
No, and you know what's so different I see now is they're in the 9th frame and Purdue is still in the 5th frame. And I remember when I bowled, it was one frame, and there's a lot of, it looks like, just kind of how they're playing the lanes. Maybe they're playing in their minds. Maybe they're still trying to figure out the pair.
It can be difficult, but you're right. It's the way the Baker format now works. Not that it changed, but just kind of the way teams approach it.
Yep.
I think you can kind of take in a little gamesmanship sometimes as well. If you're on a string, don't want to break the rhythm, so you keep going. Next thing you know, you are 3 or 4 frames ahead of your opponent. So that can be good and bad. You're in rhythm, but then you have to slow down and wait for them to finish the game.
Yeah.
And that may get you out of rhythm. So it's kind of that 50-50. What do we do?
Absolutely, for sure.
We will update you, of course, as we've done throughout, on the matches going on aside from our featured pairs. So whatever we can see within our viewing area, we'll do just what we can to give you an update. Of course, we've got running screens and scrolling screens as well to update us on matches. As far as Pikeville goes, the Pikeville women were eliminated in round number 3 this morning. They bowed out to Notre Dame, Ohio, 4-1. The Pikeville men just getting underway versus Calumet. They are on lanes 19 and 20. Pikeville currently in the 10th frame. Didn't look like a strike, didn't sound like a strike, and it definitely was not a strike. Big 4 for Pikeville in the 10th frame. Calumet on a double heading into the 10th with 114. So constant action, of course. Leslie, you mentioned obviously you bowled collegiately. What would you say, what was the best part about your experience at that point, and then when you look around and see what's going on now, you see kind of the same things that you saw that made it so special for you now?
Oh, certainly. So the camaraderie that you create with the ladies that you bowl with. I was talking to a number of the parents yesterday, and, they give us all the skills that we need through our high school years and our younger years to prepare us for life. They bring us off to college, and it's kind of like the next chapter of your life. And, you come here and you have this incredible passion for bowling, and now you've coupled that with 4, 5, 6, 7 other ladies. And, the ultimate goal at the beginning of your season when you have that first team meeting is to stand tall at the end of the season in April with a national championship. That ring. And this is certainly something that you want to achieve with. At the time when I competed, we only had 5 people on our team. So there wasn't the opportunity to sub in and out. You were hopeful that no one was injured while we were competing because we didn't have anyone sitting on the bench. These teams today bring, oh my gosh, some of these teams have 6, 8, 10, 12 people. And so it's very new to me, but, to stand tall at the end of a season and to achieve, you are the 19 for the year that I won the 1990 national champions, that was such an honor. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this program, and Gordon has just taught me so many skills that I've carried on through, that we try to instill in our own children who are passionate about bowling. And of course, my husband guides us every day with his competition on the regular tour, the 50 tour, the international tour.
Now, for those who may not know, and I can't imagine there is someone who may not, but just in case.
There might be.
Who is your husband? Let people know who that is.
Parker Bone III is my husband, who just competed on Tuesday night in Newport Richey at Lane Glow Bowl on what we have heard to be the telecast with the most PBA titles ever competing on one telecast. So proud of what he is continuing to accomplish on the lanes at the young age of 52.
He still looks young.
He does.
He looks great.
And with just the continuing travel, his incredible love for the game of bowling, he just, every time he steps up on the approach, he just gives it 100%. And so cute. One of the girls from Wichita State, their anchor bowler, Daria, I think they call her Dasha. I met her yesterday, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're Parker Bone's wife. She had no idea. She goes, he is my favorite bowler, and I had my picture taken with him when I was in Finland. And it was just so cute. Someone of her age, she's 19, 20 years old, and he has fans. It's just fun. He has fans
Isn't that not weird or odd, but if you just look at it, a grand scheme, he's still touching people, who are 19, 20, 10, 11.
Yeah.
People still know who he is, and the fact that he is still relevant, that's a testament to his own game and what he has done as a bowler and as a person as well, because I don't think I've met him personally, but I've seen him around. Obviously, you see him on TV, and he always seems to be the same person.
Yeah.
Whether he's winning or losing, and so that's just fantastic to watch and something to take away as well.
It is fun to watch him compete. I know our children, it's just Dad. And
that's the best part, right?
It is the best part. And I will tell you, we're always trying to help them improve their games. They're 11 and 13, and they have their hearts pretty set on this college bowling opportunity. And, we'll even help them try to get lined up or put bowling balls in their hands. And like, Dad, you just don't understand. The ball's not going through the pins the right way. So just know, whether it's Parker Bone or Leslie, we're mom and dad to them. So
that's awesome.
We try to let them figure it out, and then, after a couple games, then we're like, okay, let's just stop and regroup here. Can you throw this ball and stand here and look here, and let's see how that works?
That's awesome. First game in the books in this match for Wichita State. They take it 245 to 136. And so Purdue, you saw them take a little time and regroup about the third or fourth frame.
Yeah, and I got to think that the last few frames for Purdue, that 8th, 9th, and 10th frame, they're just trying some different things. They're just trying to get a handle on the right lane for them. They will be back. So hopefully for their team that the left lane happens to be the better lane.
245 for the Shockers. In front of us here, a women's featured pair. Weber has won game one, so they'll take a one-game advantage into game number 2. On the men's side, Lindenwood defeated Midland 231 to 189. Morehead State leads 1-0. As well, the women, Newman in a nice match there, 255 to 211. Notre Dame, Ohio with a victory over Wisconsin Whitewater. They lead 1-0. Emmanuel, 210, Maryland Eastern Shore, 194. So they hold the 1-0 lead at the moment. Again, if you are just joining us, we continue to welcome all of our viewers in. We appreciate those who have stayed around. So we've been, of course, doing what we can to make sure we provide the best viewing experience possible. Along with Aaron Smith, Jason Thomas, I'm Emil Williams Jr., and we've got a great special guest in the booth. 1990 Intercollegiate team champion Leslie Bone, of course, wife of Parker.
I must admit, that was a very special day. We were in Portland, Oregon, and crazy enough, it was my 21st birthday. So what a way to celebrate 21.
I'm not going to ask how you celebrated.
Well, we had cake. Cake.
Cake sounds good.
Cake does sound.
That
it was great.
Amazing. And what else is amazing right now on lane 30, we've got the front 9.
From Delaware State. Shout out to a fellow New Jersey bowler bowling for Delaware State, Miss Amber McLeod. Stepping up in the 10th frame here for Delaware State. With a great shot there by their anchor bowler. Front 10.
So 10 in a row for Delaware State. Jason Thomas will get some auxiliary video of what could be the second Baker 300 and the first on the women's side. Through the nose. Nonetheless, a valiant effort. 287 out there on the board, and I'd say that's a win.
That's a winner.
So that match will now tied 1-1. Newman and Delaware State. Newman fired off 255 on that same lane, so that right lane might be the key.
That might be the key
to that match. Of course, Leslie is in the booth with us here. If you happen to have any questions, and folks, please keep them bowling, well, not necessarily bowling related, but keep them friendly, of course, as well. Should be happy to answer a couple. I mentioned that most recent PBA 50 final. Johnny Petraglia Sr., which to give you some context, Johnny Petraglia Jr. and I bowled at the same time collegiately. And actually, I remember a very epic match at this tournament, the semifinals against Morehead State. Yeah, so it was became pretty cool after that. So Pete Weber, Norm Duke, and Walter Ray, and of course Parker. I mean, I don't think it probably can get better than that, but that's
set the bar pretty high. 171 titles amongst those 5 players.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
Update on LU, Johnny Lay, 231, 189. They won game 1, and we can give you a game 2 update. We will. Right now, looks like Pikeville again is on the strike train. The men had the front 8. Looks like a lead or something there, and they'll lead the 4-7. So Pikeville has had the. In fact, Pikeville shot 289 yesterday in qualifying, 200 in match play, and had the front 7 there yet again, or the front 8, I beg your pardon.
And unfortunately, they found themselves in the having to win all day today.
And that's the cruel nature of sports and sometimes bowling. You shoot 300 and defeat a team, but it's only one game.
It's only one game.
And in a best of 7, first to 4, one game is one game.
Yeah, this has really changed since I competed. Our national championship was composed of 6 team games on the first day, 6 individual team games, and then we went into the Baker format. So, and this year now we're all Bakers.
It's been Baker. I don't remember the exact year that the format kind of completely to Baker, but we know the format lends itself to high drama, intensity, and it. In certain cases, the most talented team doesn't always win. Sometimes it's about chemistry, working well together. And I'll be the first to say, when I had a privilege to win a championship back in 2005, our team was not the most talented team as a whole. But I'd probably say, we weren't the best, but one of the best, most cohesive units, and everybody's game in and out, and you catch a few breaks.
The great thing that I see out here today, at least they have 7 games.
Yes.
When you see these best of 5 or best of 3, that's just not enough time for the lanes to develop, the lanes to change, go through a transition. We see in this Delaware State Newman match right here, the right lane seems to be prevailing, but to shoot 239 Newman and to lose, or 239 to 287, 239, if you look around, is going to win most all of the games.
Absolutely.
So I love the fact that they do have an opportunity for the lanes to change and these kids to really showcase their skills, transition, moving, communication.
That's happening a little bit, of course. Men's featured pairs. Wichita State got off to the big start. Purdue has figured it out, of course, on the left lane. Wichita State was successful. And now the Shockers, not in too much trouble, still clean through 8 frames, but the string of strikes belongs to the Boilermakers. They've got the back 5 headed into the 10th frame. Make it 6.
That's a winner.
So that match will now move to an even pace, 1 game apiece. A missed spare there from Verity Crawley, which is rare. On the Weber side, 54 in the 4th for the Warriors, who now seem like a program still relatively young, but household names at this point, and have won a couple titles already as well.
Yes, they have, and what a nice group of girls. Nice group of girls who are so thankful for, what they have from coming from overseas. I know I've talked to a few of them when we competed at the U.S. Open at Carroller Lanes this summer, and they love to bowl. And they're not afraid to work at their games.
And that's important.
Yes, it is.
I mentioned earlier in round one, just, when a team bows out, unfortunately they lose and they're eliminated. It stings certainly at that point in time, but it's, the accomplishment to get here. It's not easy to make it this far into the postseason. So that itself is an accomplishment and should be celebrated. But, the work starts, if it was me, tomorrow. If I was eliminated today, back in the bowling alley, what can I do? Practice. Coaches, of course, got to get back on the recruiting trail. They got to recruit for next season if they, of course, already haven't had certain players sign already. So it all starts over. The cycle really repeats itself once postseason goes.
Yeah, and we'll see a lot of these coaches at Junior Gold this summer.
Absolutely.
Back out there. And what an incredible program. I know our kids have had some great memories already in the U12 division of Junior Gold and into the U15. No, I didn't have Junior Gold either. No. So it's really been fun to watch that program continue to grow, and the Youth Open for the kids, similar to our USBC Nationals, they have team doubles and singles, and so excited to say that this year we have from our area about 15 teams that will be competing. And last year we had some great successes. Our U8 boys, now there weren't a lot of teams in that division, but our U8 boys did come out on top. Our U12 boys, our two boys bowled together with a friend, Lucas Francis, and you may have heard of Wes Malott. His son Jordan bowls with our boys, and they captured the doubles title and just some really fun stuff. And we're able to walk away with the U15, and the kids are excited to go back. It's really created some, just great memories for the kids, and what a great sport and an opportunity to meet new people from all across the country.
The growth of youth bowling as a whole has been phenomenal to see. The growth here at of college bowling as a whole, and then Junior Gold, the Youth Open, now to the under 12 and under 15. I mean, it is youth bowlers this day and age are just so they're much more well prepared for the conditions that they see on a tournament basis, if you will.
I watch so many youth bowlers from our area, and the level of talent has really, really increased. And I think their access to social media, to Extra Frame, to the live stream on bowl.com, these kids can watch so much more than we were growing up, had the availability to watch.
We'll take a minute to update what we can for you. Calumet and Pikeville tied at one game apiece, that is. Lindenwood and Midland. Midland gets a one-pin victory in Game 2, 243-242. They are tied at one game apiece. On the women's side, Newman and Delaware, high-scoring affair on lanes 29 and 30, 1-1. Of course, Weber got the first win here on our women's featured pair. Stephen F. Austin set to finish their 10th frame, but Weber in the 8th on the double. And so still plenty of opportunity for the Warriors to take care of business. Morehead State is leading Wisconsin Whitewater 2-0. And a three-bagger, a big one as well, for Weber International.
And you just look at the scores over there with Newman and Delaware State. Low game out of 4 games is 2-11.
High scoring over there.
Is that the TV pair?
No, our TV pairs will be on the low end of the house. In fact, they are setting up as we speak.
Wonderful.
They began last night, or actually yesterday afternoon. Again, setting up for what will be a fantastic day tomorrow. We'll crown 4 champions, 2 teams, and 2 individuals. And now a 4-6-7 left by Verity Crawley there in the 9th frame. Stephanie Schwartz, a double in the 10th for Field Championships. So she punched her ticket Tuesday, of course, but we mentioned earlier as we begin this round, she would love, and of course all of the Lady Jacks would love to kind of make it 2 for 2 in NCAA Women's Championship. And as they
got themselves together a long time. I don't know how many seniors are on their team, but now they do have the next level of play with the PWBA Tour out there available for them. So a lot of many great events for them to compete in as well.
Absolutely, and certainly the PWBA has just been phenomenal to provide these young ladies that next step and that next opportunity to further their bowling careers. They want to compete at the professional level. The USBC Women's Championship provides that opportunity as well to bowl with the best, if they can as well. Again, Newman looks like they will lose. And the string ends for A.J. Chapman and the Shockers. Good shot in the 10th frame, but victory. Let me just make sure I do the math because you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but most Purdue can finish with is 245.
Yep. A.J. is, he has enough.
He has enough. With this 9, he could go 9 out and win, but he won't, I'm sure. So nice victory by Wichita State. They are bowling quite fast on our men's featured pair.
Yes, they are.
Just finishing game 3 here is Weber and Stephen F. Austin.
And I think as history has it, we've had some of the slower playing players.
I've heard that. I've heard that. I'm glad that a former Shocker could say that.
You know what? It's just the truth. They just need a little extra time to make sure they were prepared. Trust me, we would certainly be the reason for shot clocks.
How about that?
We're just making sure they're ready.
It's important.
It is.
I won't say it's not. It's funny. It seems like the better you get as a bowler, the more time you take, because in certain cases you want to make sure that your pre-shot routine, everything is in order.
Sure.
Before you throw your shot. And so sometimes I find myself, wait, man, I need to speed it up a little bit,
Let's go. Now, I will say, I do believe my husband's listening, and he's often said, he goes, what do they teach you at Wichita State?
It's interesting. Now I'm sure I don't know, but did Parker, did he have the opportunity to bowl? Okay, college.
No, Parker went to college for a short period of time, and then his desire to be out on the PBA Tour just continued to grow. He started on the PBA Tour, I know you're listening, in 1985. So he has been on tour for 31 continuous seasons.
That's still incredible.
Holds the PBA record for the most number of 300 games. And proud to say those are all with a Brunswick bowling ball and all of his PBA titles as well. So.
And the most timeless physical game probably in the history of bowling as well.
It is fun to watch. I know Parker, when he was younger, before he decided to make this his life and his career, and worked incredibly hard on his game, bowling in excess of 100 games a week, really dedicated to making his game the best that it could be. And people often ask him now, does he still practice as much as he did? And the answer is no, not to the same level. There was a period of time when they had 36 tournaments a week, so they were bowling quite a few games a week. They're longer formats, 18 games of qualifying, 24 games of match play, so it didn't require, I don't think, quite as much practice. Today's formats are not as long. The weeks are a little bit shorter, less games. And so it's a different practice for him. So he still competes, like I said earlier, on the PBA Tour, the PBA 50. He competes internationally. So lots of bowling, but continuing to work on his game. A few years ago, went through a not so great period of time, dropped down from 16 to 15. Never had used grips. Now I use grips. So, you know, not afraid to make the changes necessary to keep up with what he likes to say, the young kids.
Absolutely. That's and the talent level continues to grow.
It sure does.
From the youth into the professional ranks. So certainly understand that. To give you a quick update, we appreciate folks tuning in. Again, for those who have been with us throughout the week, we appreciate your patience. We've got Leslie Bone in the booth, former Wichita State Shocker, 1990 ITC Women's Champion, a member of that team. As of right now, the men's side, Pikeville leading CCSJ 2-1, but I think that one's starting to finish up. In fact, they just finished their third game. They made the flip, and that would mean that Calumet should be up 3-1 at this moment. The women's side, Delaware State leads Newman 3-1. Notre Dame, Ohio leads Wisconsin Whitewater 3-0. Emmanuel leading Maryland Eastern Shore 2-1 as well. Again, the men's side, Wichita State, and your featured pair here leads Purdue 3-1. Lindenwood leading Midland 2-1. That one, I believe, in the 10th frame as well. We got 2 matches down on the lower end here of the house on the men's side entering their 10th frame. So we've got some matches coming potentially to an end unless some teams can extend a couple matches. And now in the chat, we've got a quick update. Again, joined by Leslie Bone. So any questions for Mrs. Bone, feel free to offer those up in the chat. We will pass those along to her. In fact, she can see it. So anything that she would like to answer, she will. And if she doesn't, I'm sure she will decline. Dave Parker is certainly listening. Thank you for listening, sir. We appreciate it. We will, of course, extend the invitation to you as well. So if we see you out, Parker, out and about, the booth is always open to you as well.
Oh, Shockers with the spare there on the left lane.
Those are the type of spares that you will need from time to time to win a match or a game. Purdue trying to do the same. And they will take the count there. So a couple opens through 3. And Wichita State kind of, as they say, smelling blood, if you will.
These guys came in with a long day ahead of them, knowing that they needed to keep winning to find themselves in the TV show tomorrow.
A long way if you started at 8 o'clock this morning. You needed to win 5 matches. And if you think about what that means, and let me just double check, because I've been saying 5 all day, and every time I say it, I want to go take a look. Wichita State's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would get them here. And so it is, probably one of the longest days ever if you are that team to come out of the contenders bracket.
And one of the days that they're absolutely going to embrace.
Absolutely.
And they can just be as tired as they want tonight.
You need the carbohydrates. You got to make sure you eat at some point.
I've seen many coolers back here by all these supportive parents and fans.
I would say with the Shocker contingent in the house, I'm sure they'll be taken care of from that point. We got one question in the chat. This comes from Bluegrass 300. He's been with us throughout the week. Did you and Parker meet at a bowling center?
Believe it or not, we did.
How about that?
How about that? National Bowling Stadium in Reno.
Okay.
We did. Oh, we met back in the mid-90s.
Okay. It opened in 95, so.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Mid-90s, and years prior to that, as I shared earlier, Parker's been on the Brunswick Pro staff since 1989. In the early 90s, went out to grab a bite to eat during the Masters. One of the ladies from the ad agency from Brunswick took a number of the Wichita State players and some of the Brunswick staff players out to dinner just to celebrate the successes of, the relationship of the programs. And it was just such a wonderful way to talk to players of his level and see what life was like out on tour. I did try the ladies tour for a few years. Enjoyed my time. I will say it's a challenge to go from this incredible team bowling atmosphere to individual bowling. Some players have made that transition really, really well. Myself, I love team bowling, so I think there's just nothing greater than achieving success with other players.
I tend to agree with that, and I think I've always been more of a team first individual as well, and so I found myself, you know, when I was still bowling a lot, you get to a situation where it's just you, and you tend to not bowl well, but I would always bowl better with any team.
Always.
Put me with one other person.
Yeah, I love doubles. I love team. So excited, going to be competing at the Women's USBC Open Championships with Shannon O'Keefe, Coach McKendry. I think the Shockers just struck.
It is Brendan Biondo.
Oh my God.
Yet again. He has solidified that 2nd and 7th frame slot. He's come in. You mentioned some of the lineup changes for that roster there, and he has come in and produced. A freshman.
And they just keep moving.
A freshman. You know, and that's another thing. You know, you continue to see the youth movement, you know, the constant recruiting we talked about. And, you know, Coach V has got a couple freshmen on the team, which, you know, a few years back didn't really seem like that was possible. But, again, through youth, through junior gold, players are better at 17 years old than I was when I was 17 years old. And, you know, they're making dividends here and making an impact.
Yep. So I'm going to be bowling with Shannon O'Keefe at the USBC Open Championships for the women. Kendra Gaines.
Oh, wow.
Used to be Kendra Cameron.
Absolutely.
And my sister Chrissy Beamish Kent. So really looking forward to bowling with those ladies in May out in Las Vegas.
What was it like bowling with your sister?
I actually didn't have the opportunity. I bowled from 87 to 91, and my sister followed me here to Wichita State, and she bowled 92 to 96. Her team also won a national championship in 94. We spoke earlier about the format changes. The year Chrissy's team won in 94, it was completely total pinfall.
Sure.
So was very different. There wasn't a stepladder finals. Certainly not to say that it wasn't exciting, because when you know you've captured it and can crown yourselves, or you'll be crowning yourselves as the 94 national champions. Something that will always stay with that group of girls.
Stephen F. Austin finished with 225 on our featured pair. Verity Crawley gets some good carry. Action starting to heat up here. Weber now on a 5-bagger, headed into the 10th frame. And they are looking to take a 3-games-to-1 lead over Stephen F. Austin. We've got action on our men's pair as well. 224, the max for Purdue. They've got the first strike in the 10th. Here is A.J. Chapman for Wichita State. And he will leave a 9-pin, just a little high. Now the best they can do there with a spare will be 205. Good count here for Purdue. A 10 would be phenomenal. Good shot. 10 back, and Purdue staves off elimination, at least for another game.
Yep.
They'll go to game 6.
And that was a win there on the right lane.
The right lane, and I hadn't been keeping track because we're working through some things here, but we know the right lane, at least at the beginning of the match, was not the best.
That's correct.
And now both teams have figured it out. And so, if we were to say, if this one were to get to a game 7, Purdue would finish on the right lane. They've got to win game 6 first. They'll finish up game 5.
Weber needs to make this spare.
And on the other side, Weber with a missed 10-pin in the 10th frame.
So Stephen F. Austin will tie that up at 2-2.
What was 3-1 all but 10 seconds ago. That's how quickly things can change.
And how quickly she needs to put that aside.
Absolutely. Put yourself in her shoes. What's your mindset after something like that? What's your mindset there?
Now you just need to focus. They have 3 games left. This is a new match. You can only change what goes from here forward. She can't take it back. She can only learn from it. She's got an amazing group of support behind her. They all know that wasn't done. It just happened.
Sure. Again, so Wichita State and Purdue heading to game 6. The Shockers with a 3-2 advantage. And Purdue trying to force a game 7. We saw some exciting matches in our round 1 this morning. And it's getting to that level right now. Again, the loser goes home. So that's what's on the line, folks. Not only an opportunity for a championship, but you've got to stay in the moment and stay alive to have that shot. Headpin left there for the Shockers. 9 spare to start. Purdue with a strike already. Couple updates for matches going on. Women's Delaware State 3-2 over Newman. Tied, of course, Stephen F. Austin, the Weber International, right in front of us on 25 and 26. Notre Dame on Whitewater. So the Falcons have come out this morning, bowled very well. Shore and Emmanuel 2 apiece on the mid. Their game coming to an end. We'll update momentarily. Morehead State, Wisconsin Whitewater tied at 2. Lindenwood, Woodland tied at. Try to surface the lanes as best as I can.
Trying to strike there on the right lane for Wichita State.
The Emmanuel match up game 5.
You see how quickly Weber came back from that unfortunate 10th frame, starting this game with a double.
That's how you get it done there. Weber with a big double.
One of the great results of team play. Pick her up.
Yep.
State.
Again, so for the folks, Emmanuel leads 3-2. And our featured pairs here in front of us. Purdue trying to keep pace, essentially. They've now trailed in, and they get some help. Crawley 10 back for Weber International. They've got the front foot. Five in a row now for Weber International.
I'm going to go.
I mean, no matter what sport it is.
And that just absolutely fired them up. They know that was just a missed opportunity, and Brandon Biondo will step up here in frame 7, sports management major. Seven pin there for Weber in the 7th frame. Great shot. Brandon, great shot for a six-bagger. I'd say it has to make Coach V and Nathan's job a little easier, knowing that any one of those players that you would put in the lineup have the ability to perform.
You mentioned the roster size, and you got to be ready to produce. And so if you're on the bench, you
Shockers trying to wrap this up here.
We've seen some great shots from the Shockers. 290 max, and have all but wrapped up things in this round.
AJ Chapman here in the 10th, also a sports management major. Fourth and a year here on.
They know their work has essentially been today, and they've come out focused this morning and will move on. They've won their second match now of the day. We will turn most of the attention now to Weber, who are very close to a game. Kind of put the Weber International Warriors.
College continuing to compete internationally while they're bowling collegiate. That's something so new that we didn't have back when I competed. I don't know about yourself, but with the European
across each roster now all of a sudden. That month, I think, or a few months later, I found out at that time we're from Canada. And so it's the world, so much.
we spoke about with Wichita State the depth of talent when so many of the kids from across the country are so incredibly talented from their areas, and then to bring them all together. So many of these kids could be in the starting lineup at many of the other schools.
Absolutely.
And be able to play full-time.
Absolutely. 278 to 225 officially. Purdue, the top seed in the tournament, has been eliminated. And the Shockers, with a long day ahead, they plan to make some. We won't let Leslie go since the Shockers are done. We're going to wait at least until our women's match.
I want to watch these. Warmed up now.
To 2. So some adversity for the NCAA Women's Champions.
I'm sure they're happy to be back on the left lane.
That seems to be a winner for them. They've got one of the most talented bowlers, of course, no matter where they may be, in Stephanie Schwartz.
Watched Stephanie play very, very well last week. First NCAA title for the bowl.
In any sport.
In any sport.
In any first national championship in any sport. These young ladies right here. So an impressive feat, certainly. It's funny. Amber and Steve Lemke for Stephen F. Austin used to attend Vincennes University. To compete on the very
or across the world now as the game. Weber starts this next game with a strike here on the right lane. Taking a little extra time, trying to make sure there's a good shot in here in front of her. There's the double on the board. This certainly is the week that all of these teams have worked hard for. They've dedicated time, countless hours, practice, ready here for this week here.
Yeah, season starts in September for some teams, October for many as well, and that is Tawny Vollmer. She also will appear in the Collegiate Singles Championship. She's a semifinalist. Trying to give you some updates.
Stephen F. Austin struggling a little bit here on the left lane with 2 splits in a row.
Nice spare from Crawley. And no doubter there. Now the Page Conschauer shooting at the 6'10", and that is converted as well. I beg your pardon, the 6'17". Didn't see the 7 there. That was
unfortunate split there for SFA.
And so now
Weber takes advantage and puts a strike up on the board there in the 5th frame. Stephanie answers right back with a strike of her own. Here for the update for the Newman Delaware State match. It just finished over here. Final result.
Midland and
failed to fill the frame there with the washout. Away.
They're going to need some help
From the reigning NCAA champions. But what an incredible 2 weeks these girls have had.
absolutely and it's certainly not over yet. Crazier things have happened in this sport. Tawny Vollmer not looking to go home. She wants to end this thing right here if she can. Nice shot there from Stephen F. Austin. Wrap 10 pin. But the magic run here for the Lady Jacks may be coming to an end here this morning at the ITC, but can't take away what they accomplished last weekend.
Girls can certainly head back to their university with their heads held high.
There is Weber one more time and again, and now the guys team is behind us and behind them. The Weber men will bowl at 1:30.
Incredible camaraderie between the men's teams and the women's team. You know, these guys, they didn't have to bowl until 1:30. They're here cheering their girls on. You know, this becomes just a family between all of them, your coaching staff, the players. And, you know, I look at Weber and I think about all the languages.
Yes.
That these kids bring.
Well represented.
Well represented, and how, you know, our English language becomes the language,
sure.
And they all add their own to it. But I mean, even the kids can probably learn even so much more from the other students from the other countries.
From each other, right.
Yeah.
The cultural differences, and again, all a part of college bowling. Just those things that you learn about each other. So 6 in a row for Weber. You see Coach Randy Stoughton talking to Stephanie Schwartz. She's just a sophomore. You would expect this team to continue to bowl well in the future and be back here.
Bright future for this program for sure.
There was one senior, I believe, on the squad, and that was Danielle Lynn. Danielle from Milton, Wisconsin. Stephanie Schwartz will finish out the 10th frame for the Lady Jacks.
Weber continuing to strike there on the right lane with a double in the 10th frame, making it 7 in a row.
Game 7 down the other end, Midland and LU.
To championship.
Weber with a nice 250, and so their path continues on. And once we get confirmation, we believe we'll be able to tell you in just a second. Good sportsmanship.
Last shots of college bowling.
One match to our right. And Maryland Eastern. Slightly. Lindenwood. I'm trying to get some of the pins there. So Lindenwood and Midland in your viewing area. Again, trying to do what we can for you folks to give you some extra. Calumet, I believe they have completed their match. Again, so for the women, Delaware State moving on to face Weber. Notre Dame, Ohio. And a game 7 down on 33 and 34, EC, Emmanuel College, and the Maryland Eastern Shore. Good games throughout. A game 7 on the men's side between Midland and Lindenwood. Well, Mrs. Bone, it's obviously been a fun time, but we certainly appreciate you being around and joining us. It was fun. We had some good questions, of course, in the chat room. Emotions that kind of go, opinion, what's the best? There may not be a best way, and I don't think there is. To combat and keep things in check emotionally.
Many of these kids have already visioned it. Part of the process. We talk a lot about process. These kids are prepared for it. You know, the opportunity, whether it's game 1, game 2, game 3, it obviously intensifies the longer we go in the match. And I said to Rick, I said, how does it feel? Would you rather have the ball watching? But I think as a player too, attempt to win. So I think it becomes very familiar territory to a number of these. For the years that I spent at Wichita State, we spoke about positive affirmations and not dwelling on what did, the unfortunate outcomes. You just can't change them. You can simply learn from them, and you can only, focus on the forward. And, I make every spare, I fill every frame. Not, I'm not going to, I'm not going to miss my spares. That's not positive. I'm going to make all my spares and just throughout the frames.
Filling frames, the name of the game. We appreciate those tuning in. Before we wrap up round 4 officially, we'll have round 5 at 1:30. So there will be a. Now, let me just make. Emmanuel College and Maryland Eastern Shore match. It is completed. We don't know who won Game 7 down there. And then on the men's side, Lindenwood and Midland, they're locked into tie 1 as well. Morehead State still around, along with Wisconsin Whitewater.
I think I'll step down there and see who won between the women. We'll have a Game 7 update.
Again, we appreciate folks staying with us as we maneuver this thing called life and live streaming. Well, getting word that Whitewater won. Our angle certainly is not the best, as you can see. For Lindenwood, this is Kyle Sherman throwing a shot. A little light. I see the 2-8. Not sure if the 10 pin is there. And officially, Maryland Eastern Shore has 4 games to 3. And I agree. Emmanuel College. We talk about the upstart young programs in their second appearance, making some. Well, Kyle with their folks, but it is. All of our women's matches have been completed. Big strike, and I think that was a double. But Midland will move on. Midland, last year's runner-up in the men's ITC, they will move on to face Wisconsin Whitewater. I will double check that momentarily for you folks as well. Again, our winners bracket matches will begin at 1:30 p.m. Central, along with the rest of our contenders matches. If you're just joining us, quick recap. Calumet College winner, Wichita State a winner in round 4. Wisconsin Whitewater a winner, and Midland a winner as well. So Whitewater, Wisconsin Whitewater will take on Midland at 1:30 p.m. Central. Winners bracket matches: McKendree Weber, William Patterson, Robert Morris. Contenders bracket: Calumet moving on to take on Wichita State. The women's winners bracket matches: McKendree and Florida State, North Carolina A&T and Wichita State, Delaware State and Weber, and Notre Dame, Ohio and Maryland Eastern Shore. That will be your women's featured pair match: Notre Dame, Ohio and Maryland Eastern Shore. And for the men,
just a reminder, our staff is going to be coming down and cleaning up the bowlers area. So if you have anything that you want to hold on to,
we may not have a match for you on the men's side. We'll double check that. Oh, excuse me, Whitewater and Midland coming up. Again, folks, 1:30 p.m. Central. Be here. Join us. I'd like to thank Leslie Bone for her time in the booth. Les, I want to just say thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, sir. Emil Williams Jr. Again, join us 1:30 as the 2016 ITC Championships rolls on.